Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the Kiwi Ears Quintet. These are, I think, Quadbrids, which we'll look at in a bit. And yes, I've had a bit of a break, which is always good to have. And yeah, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to thank Linsol themselves for sending me this unit to try out. So thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video and the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, I tried two items from Kiwi Ears, which is the Orchestra Light and the condenser model, and I like them both. There is the Quartet model, but I was on a break so I didn't try it. And yeah, let's just get into it. So let's see what you get. So it looks like they're coming one version, Quartet. Nothing really on the side there. Now this is the important bit. So 10mm DLC driver, PZT, which I think is a Piezo driver, which I'll check in a bit. 2 balanced armatures and 1 planar. I think to micro planar, obviously I'll check all this. So frequency response, which is enough 32 ohm impedance, 106 decibel sensitivity, rated powers, detachable cable, 0.72 pin. So let's have a look. Again, like I said before, I've tried 2 items from Kiwi Ears and I did like them. So a bit of foam packaging. Here's some of these bad boys here. So you got the emblem and the name, and there's the model. Get these two out. Quartet, so metal, and that's it really. You can't really see what magic is going inside. Quite a plain shell, which I don't mind at all. 2 pin like there, and that's it. So quite plain, not too bad at all. They meant to have took them a year to get this model to this kind of level, which is a lot of R&D. It's a bit of paperwork there. So yeah, 12 months to get it sounding right. So these should be quite a nice set. Cable, bit of bling going on. So 2 pin. Obviously I'll see what it's like when I use it. Looks quite a nice cable, to be honest. Colours on the connectors. And a bunch of different tips. I'll see what the differences are in a bit, but they look quite wide bore, the black ones, and these grey ones look kind of normal. So wide bore and normal bore, and that's pretty much it. So obviously I've not tried these at all. This is the first time I've seen these in the flesh, and yeah, quite a nice set. So obviously I'll graph them, put a bunch of time on them and see what they're like. But these are meant to be really good, considering it's got 4 different driver types, which can be a disaster. But like I said, I've heard that it took them a year to get them to this level. So, and Kiwi is normally know what they're doing. So yeah, I see you guys and gals in the future. Yeah, so welcome to my review section of the Kiwi Ears Quintet. So here it is with the cable. So it's again quite a nice one. Kiwi Ears, the brand. This is what it looks like in person, basically. So yeah, not too bad. That's what it looks like. Good build quality. If it's a focus. So yeah, quite nice build quality. Chin slider, which is very effective there. And yeah, looks pretty good. Very secure. Obviously 2 pin as well. So power and sensitivity of these. Because it's a bit of a funky driver setup. These are what people call a Quadbrid. 4 different type of drivers. Now, they do require, I think, a little more power than usual. But nothing really like crazy. Like I think a full planar model is harder to power than this. I know some people have got the KZ PR2 and that mess where it's the tuning got changed. Quite glad I didn't try that one. That's something like that be much harder to drive than this. But this is fine. You just want something decent enough to pair it, like a decent dongle. So, you know, this is my Sonata HD2 I've had for quite a while. Something like that is perfectly fine for these. So comfort and like just fit really. So comfort and fit on these is actually pretty good. The shape is kind of normal. I've had a few that fit like this. You can see there's a shape there. That part may be uncomfortable for you, but it's not too. you can see, I didn't find it. I think when KZ have that kind of part, it's more scooped, but it's not too bad at all. And they're good weight, but they're not super heavy. Again, I had no issues with it. And same for the actual size, like the width here. It's nothing crazy. Like I think like Moondrop and other companies like that have much wider nozzles. So yeah, it's actually perfectly fine. So I'll just leave these tips off. So let's talk about stage. Now, I found the sound stage on these actually pretty good. They also have good extension, but obviously we talk about the actual sound and graphs and stuff in a bit. But yeah, extension on these is actually very good. And these are priced at $219 if you didn't know at the time of this video. Obviously, I will link, as usual, everything in the description, because it's the Linsole product. So yeah, obviously I'll link it in a bit. You can read it after the video. But yeah, extension is good, and yeah, $219. So really close to the orchestra lights. Again, that's another good set. That's more of a standard set, being 8 BA, and this being I think 5 drivers, because it's 2 BAs, 1 dynamic, 1 planar, and the 1 PTZ, which is either piezo or bone conduction. So it's, I think, 5 drivers, total. And yeah, so not bad at all. Imaging on this set, again, is also very good. Quite happy with it. No issues at all, which is obviously good to see as well. So now the timbre of these, which is, I was quite curious, because when you shove 4 different driver types together, it can be unnatural, is probably the best way to describe it. And actually, these actually do sound quite realistic. Not as good as like a single DD, nothing can beat that for kind of tonality. But the actual timbre of these is actually very good. Again, not what I expected. And yeah, so I'll stop waffling on. So sound, I'll overlay the graph now. Now, as you can see, my set have an Inbalance for like most of it, from basically sub bass up to I think about 4ish. Then there's a little bit further up, but to be honest, I didn't notice that at all, because as usual I listen to my gear first, and if it's an IEM or Bluetooth or whatever, I listen to it first and then graph it afterwards. And obviously I've just done that just before I've done this video. So I like to do it that way, instead of a graph skewing your results, like placebo, like, affecting what you listen. But, so what are these like? These are, so start from the bass, quite a nice impact. These are not bass monsters, and I prefer more of a hit towards the mid bass, as again I typically do like electronic music. So the elevation is mid bass and more towards the sub bass. I like a little bit more towards where it bleeds into the mids, so it gives a little bit more of a kick. But the DD they've used in this is very good, and it's got great decay. It's just not super. It doesn't give off a super bassy presence, shall we say? But I was actually quite fine with it. Yeah. So mid range on these is very clean. I liked it. It didn't sound scooped, again because the bass doesn't really bleed all that much. Again, very clear and transparent. I think it uses Knowles BAs, if I'm not mistaken, for the mid range. And yeah, very resolving, clear. I liked it. And the upper mid range is slightly forward, so vocals on these female vocals do sound pretty good. And yeah, I was just saying, it's a good set, and much better than a lot of V-shaped ones I've tried. So now treble. Now I think this is where the other drivers work. So as you can see, there is an elevation towards the 3K, like the presence region. Now, because of this, and you can see it's got enough treble. It's there's a very clear, and instrument separation and everything, and layering is very good. It can be a little hot, I found, for longer sessions, but it all depends on what you listen to. Again, I like electronic music. I just don't like too much treble, because it just sounds fake and fatiguing, things like that. But yeah, very clear. I'm quite glad there's no more treble than that. I'm very happy they've capped it kind of at that level, if you understand what I mean. Again, very good tuning. The driver matching is good enough. I was expecting a little bit more because these are not that cheap. But again, these are very early kind of batch, shall we say. But yeah, again, very good. Again, I said like extension was very good. Like a lot of things roll off when you get to like 10, and these don't. So like, it gives you more stage and more air, as people call it. And not to say, very, very good, very full sounding experience with these, instead of things getting to like 8, 9 and then dropping off like a cliff. Then it feels like you're missing the detail. This has got all the details. It just can be a little bit fatiguing. Again, it just depends on what your genres are. I'll say I typically like electronic music, which is more bass orientated and enough treble, but not too much, because that way I can listen to for longer periods. Again, very resolving set. So conclusion, do I recommend these? Yes. They obviously are not that cheap, but there is a lot of stuff going on inside. I think they're worth the 220. When you start to go like 300, 350, it's a bit much, but for 219, these are a good set. They suit what I like. I'd prefer to a little bit more low end, but that's my preference. Good set, great cable, Kiwi Ears, great build. Obviously come with a case, as you saw, obviously, in the previous kind of clip. I like it, very resolving, detailed set, very clear. I think they're good value for money in a way. Probably compared to the Orchestra Light, these are a bit different. The Orchestra Light are a kind of a slightly softer presentation. I don't think these are more resolving than the Orchestra Light, but they're on an all-BA set, so it's a bit different. But yeah, overall, I do like this set. I do like what they've done with the tuning. I'm quite glad they didn't go overboard with the treble. And they've kept it at that amount. Yeah, he seems to perform very well for what I listen to. And yeah, I'll probably end it there. If you know anything in particular, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I've got a couple of nice videos coming up. There's a dual DD coming up, and there's a 4 DD per side coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for those. And yeah, see you in the future.